Tokyo Vice is a show that I was very much interested in wanting to see and check out ever since I saw that first trailer for it. This idea around what makes to be looked at as the first real take on the crime world of Japan, and more specifically, of course, in the streets of Tokyo. And what follows with this show is seemingly a very interesting deep dive in what this world was like during the 90s of which it takes place in. And when I saw a guy like Michael Mann, who was executive producing the show and overseeing it from that side, was another thing that got me very much interested in watching it. The show also stars Ansel Elgort as our main protagonist, Jake Adelstein, who is the reporter that we follow as he delves deep into the criminal world of Tokyo. Along with him, it also stars Ken Watanabe of Inception fame as well as the modern Godzilla movies. To this day, he is one of the most underrated actors that does not get enough credit for how good he is in just about every role that he stars in. Another role that I would like to mention, which is played by the same actress who I haven't personally seen since 2013's Pacific Rim, and its sequel, Pacific Rim Uprising, plays Jake's boss at the news outlet that he works for. I'm totally forgetting the actress's name, but she is also very good here in this show, and it's good to see her back in something again that I personally just haven't seen her in a long time. As we have now gotten through the first full season of the show, I eagerly await what could potentially follow in a more upbeat second season if we do end up getting it sometime in the near future, since the show does end off on a cliffhanger in the season finale. The season finale of which I wasn't really the biggest fan of and felt lacking in certain areas. At times the show tends to lose itself in certain episodes with just how many different plots and subplots and characters that it needs to follow to tell a comprehensive story. There were times where it felt like characters didn't get enough time to flesh themselves out, along with certain storylines that don't exactly finish off on the greatest notes or end up really going anywhere to begin with. Even then, with those criticisms, I still found so much about the show leave me interested enough to continue watching it. I do want a second season, and I want to see what the story goes for more, since it is also based on a true story. The world of Tokyo is so vast and leaves so much room for how much of a story can be told through many different facets, whether that be for the criminal underworld of the city and even for the reporting side of it all, with the news that very much gets touched up upon more so in the first half of the season as opposed to the second half, which feels more crime-based. Tokyo is the biggest city on the entire planet, which only makes it even bigger as to why it makes the show so fascinating from this angle. It is also one of the most beautiful cities, which is very much captured in the show with the amount of colors and vivid shades that are captured by the cinematography. Another thing I will give praise for in the show is that each episode takes its time in telling a story, especially for how long each episode is, which clocks in around an average of 50 minutes or more. It is this type of pacing and time that gives much more detail to these types of stories, especially ones that were real. And so with that, I can only hope that HBO Max lends itself to making another season of which it is based off the book of the real life reporter. I do also hope a lot of our main cast does end up returning, as I liked everybody in the show from an acting perspective. The directing was good, the music was a nice touch to many scenes, and the cinematography was gorgeous. If you have HBO Max, the show is 100% a recommendation for me. I've been watching a lot of different shows and movies recently that come from a foreign perspective outside of what I am used to here in America, and it only made me more fascinated and wanting to watch more from the side of places like South Korea and now here with the world of Japan. If you enjoyed this review and liked what I had to say here, be sure to drop a like on my video and subscribe if you are new to the channel. I hope you all have a fantastic day and a great weekend, and I will see you all in the next one.